Hi people. Right, today I'm bringing you a discussion on bone broth, the benefits of how to make it, and the recipe for very, very condensed bone broth. It would not be suitable for puppies, okay? You have to build it up because if it's too strong, it can cause upset stomach. So you would start with a very different recipe, but this is what you would build up to. Okay, this is what Zed has, and my friend's dog, who was born without any um, hip bones, any ball joint in her, no femur heads. Okay, so right, here we go. It has to be cooked for 24 hours, so I have all the windows shut, and it does smell. Now, it made my friend's son sick, so I am taking over. Now, I don't mind the smell at all. I actually quite like it, so this is going to be personal preference. Right, what you're going to need to start with is you're going to need a very large stock pot, one that holds 20 pints, okay? 20 pints. If you're making less, I mean, what we are doing is making a large batch so that we don't have to keep making it. We then freeze it, cool it, freeze it, and then we don't have to think about it for a while. Zed literally only has 1 tablespoon after her first meal in the morning, which is her smaller meal. Please take into account Zed is raw fed, and 1 tablespoon is the equivalent of 20 grams of raw meat and bone. So please take that into account. Okay. So the recipe that we are using at the moment, and trust me, we have worked long and hard on this, is 6 standard chicken carcasses. You could use free range carcasses if you like, but Zed cannot tolerate free range birds. A carcass, it means no wings, no legs, just the carcass, like the rib cage, and any meat left on it. 4 small femur marrow bones. They are about that round and about stand that tall. Of course, you can get larger ones. Now, you also need some acid in there to help with the breaking down, and in view of the amount we're making, you'll be surprised at how little acidic stuff you need, and the acidic comes in, the acid comes in the form of apple cider vinegar. Okay, you need just 2 teaspoons. Yes, that's all. Just two teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. So what you do is you put all the bones into your 20-pint stock pot, and you cover them with water. Fill the stock pot up to sort of, well, that far from the top, because you're going to boil it. So get it to boiling, because this has to be cooked for 24 hours, and as I said, once it's boiling, turn it down to the lowest setting on your cooker so it just simmers. Obviously there's going to be reduction, and every couple of hours you need to stir it, and just keep adding water to it until you've added the whole 15 pints of water. That is how much we're adding, is 15 pints of water. Because it's cooked over a 24-hour period, you're going to get, as I said, get a lot of reduction. Now, the benefits of bone broth are as follows. 1, it's very, very good for digestion. Now, as you know, Zed had a sensitive stomach, and she would get mucus in her poo. She doesn't anymore. Ever. If your dog gets a little bit constipated, you can up the amount that you give, and the constipation is immediately gone, and no, it doesn't give diarrhea. Now, I'm going to say just on this, if you were to use this recipe at this strength, you'd have to use tiny amounts. this is too strong, okay, to start out with. I really want to emphasize this. You build your dog up to this, and Zed has literally 1 tablespoon. That is all, and it has sorted out all digestive problems. The other benefit is for your dog's joints. Your dogs have a substance in all of their joints called synovial fluid. It's like having like oil in your, round stuff in cars so that it runs smoothly and doesn't like grate against each other. So you have to stir it every couple of hours. Keep adding water until all the 15 pints have been added, which is at the stage where I'm at. All the water's been added, and I've been going at this. I mean, my mate did it for 10 hours, but then had to turn it off because her son was sick. So I'm starting it back from scratch. So it's actually going to end up having over 30 hours of cooking, but I'm going to, eyeball it. You then have to let it cool. That can take 18 hours. And what happens is you get a hard layer of fat. Think about how lard is made. In the old days, this would be how lard was made. That has to come off, that lard, that hard layer of fat, and I will be removing it with my hands. So if you try and do it with a knife, it just breaks up. And underneath that, there is a small layer of fat which you stir back in. The most important thing here, taking into account that this is raw bone that has been cooked, is that it is put through a very fine sieve. Sorry, I had to just pause there because I had a parcel delivered. Said, place, settle. Good. I can't remember where I was. It has to be sieved through a very fine sieve. Okay. Now, because of the amount of marrow in there, you're going to have to use the back of a spoon and force it through the sieve. It's as simple as that. I don't mean a flour sieve. I mean like if you were making a sauce or something like that. It has to be pushed through. Don't ever take the risk of any bits of cooked bone getting through. Cooked bone can cause perforation in your dog's bowel. You simply don't want that. Okay, so I hope this is of some help. The health benefits are huge for your dog's joints. I mean, Zed is on glucosamine and chondroitin anyway, not because there's anything wrong with her, but because I want to prevent anything ever being wrong with her. Okay. She is also on doorwest.com, who ship worldwide. She is on 2 of their products, Keeper's Mix, and also, as I said, their glucosamine and chondroitin. She is on Phytopet, which is once a day. Now, just to clarify here, with the Keeper's Mix and the glucosamine and chondroitin, that is, you split that between the 2 meals, okay? Simple as. With herbal remedies, please split between 2 meals. She has her Phytopet, which is to maintain a healthy colon once a day in her second meal. Okay, and it's like £10 a tub, and you use for Zed, it's a half a teaspoon a day, and it stops any inflammation in the colon. In the Keeper's Mix are stinging nettles and various other things. Please check out www.doorwest.com. www.doorwest.com. They ship worldwide. She also has Protexin Symbiotic DC, which is a pre and probiotic. She has that in her second meal only. Okay. That's to feed everything into her gut, so she has nice healthy bacteria. And also in her raw diet, she has a fruit and vegetable blend. Now, I'm going to suggest if you look, when if I wasn't looking after her and she was out in the world and had to go fetch her own food, think of it like this: a dog her size would maybe catch a rabbit. You're aiming for like what would be in the contents of a rabbit. That is about a forkful. So um, start with apple. Apple, no pips, please. Okay, no pips. They contain cyanide. Yes, you'd have to have loads of them, but it's best just not to go down there at all. That route at all. Um, then add to that, if your dog's fine with it, carrot. It has to be blended. Yes, all of this has to be blended so that it's almost like a very thick smoothie. I mean, I do it with a NutriBullet. You know, other brands are available, and none of this is sponsored, by the way. As if. So, yeah. The Phytopet Petcoal, not that one. The Protexin is, again, it's actually not a herbal remedy, but it's not a chemical remedy either. There's no nasties in it. I don't like giving chemicals to dogs unless I absolutely have to. Yes, to stop lungworm and fleas and ticks and all worms and all the rest of it, once every 3 months, only once every 3 months do I use Advocate. That is it. Okay? And yeah, she's had a puppy shot, a booster a year, and maybe when she's 6 or 7, I will have her titered. Please don't over vaccinate your dogs. Okay? I lost Dinky to a vaccination booster, as you all well know, who have been with me from the get-go. Sherry, you know this. I still find it so hard to talk about Inky. She was the reason that I got myself educated about what's going on with Big Pharma. Trust me, they're making a fortune out of you. Veterinary people that work in vets, and I've got nothing against vets, please remember it is a business. And the only companies in this like COVID virus time, the only people that are totally safe and never going into the red are going to be the pharmaceutical companies. Okay, be aware, people, please. You know, your dog's health is your responsibility, and please take it seriously. Okay, that's it from me today. Take care for now. Bye.